Hi, my name's Cliff Whitmer, and this time we're going to talk about the stairs module in Whitmer Deck's Field Tools. I use this module every time I build a deck that has stairs on it. I think you'll get a lot of use out of this. As with all the rest of them, it's very simple. There's only 3 inputs to this that you need: total rise, max step rise, and step run. Now, 2 of these are defaulted for you, so the max step rise, because this is code in my area, is 8 1/4. I don't like to build my stairs that steep. I like them to be more closer to 7, but the max you can do is 8 1/4. Sometimes you have to because you got to squeeze a set of stairs in somewhere. And I typically built my stairs with a 10-inch run. Now you can see in the settings that these defaults come from the settings. You can see in here, here's the max rise is 8.25 and the run is 10. You can change that to whatever you want and it'll save that, and then each time you go to lay out stairs, if you want your runs to be 11 and you want your max to be 8, you can change it here and it'll default to that. Hit the back button here, and you can also change it here for just this one time and it'll use that. So let's say we measure our total rise here and it comes out to be 8'9" from this bottom. This is a second story deck. This one right here only shows 4 rises. Let's say it's a second story deck, so it's a little bit taller. When we're trying to figure out our rise for our stairs, we want them all to be exactly even. According to code where I live, stairs cannot differ from one another by more than 3/8 of an inch. So the highest step you take on a set of stairs can't differ from the lowest one by more than 3/8 of an inch. So for example, if you built these stairs and then this bottom step was like a 7-inch rise, and then the next step was a 7.5-inch rise, or any of the steps were a 7.5-inch rise, the inspector could fail you for that and make you tear those stairs all down and rebuild them. Right? So it's very important that you get all of these rises the same. So you need to figure out from your finished surface on the bottom to your finished surface on the top. Now this is a very simple tool. It's figuring out a single flight of stairs. So if you've got stairs that have a bend in them, a landing in the middle and stuff, you need to figure out those separately. You can figure it out as a total long set of stairs first, but then you need to figure out where you're going to put the landing and figure those each out separately. So again, we decided that we did this total rise and it's going to be 8'9". And then once we calculate that, so here's our total rise, click on this, we're going to put an 8 in for the feet, we're going to put 9 inches, and luckily it came out without any fractions, so it's a nice even number. Now when I hit calculate, what it does is it populates this little grid right here. Now the first option is going to be the minimum number of rises you can get in. So for an 8'9" rise, the minimum number of rises with we can only have an 8 1/4 rise. So we end up with an 8 1/16 inch rise with 13 rises evenly distributed, and it's almost a 39-degree angle. That's a pretty steep set of stairs. Or we can go to 14 rises, add one more, it comes out to a 7.5-inch rise, and we've got almost a 37-inch angle. Or for the third option, we can have 15 rises at 7 inches even. And that comes out, and our total run is going to be 11'8". Now you can change the settings so it only shows inches for this. Some people like to use feet and inches, some people like to use just inches. So if you don't like to see 10'10" and you want to see 130 in there, then in the settings, if you go into settings and you change it to say, right here where it says measurement display, I have mine set to feet and inches. Metric is meters and millimeters, and or you can change it to inches only. We're going to do feet and inches for now. We're going to back to where we were working, and so it's calculated these 3 options for us. So what we do now is we pick the option we want, because we want to get these layout measurements. When you're laying out a set of stringers, there's some people like to use layout measurements which go from point to point on the stringer, and that gives you a way to lay that out, and it helps determine whether everything's nice and accurate. You can step it off of the framing square, but you can still use these layout measurements to help you out. So I'm going to pick option number 3 here and get a nice 7-inch rise and have 15 risers. So if I click number 3, I get all of those layout measurements we were talking about. It shows me my options, my step rise, my angle, and all of the layout measurements that go up each one of these. There's 14 of them here for our 14 steps. So there's a couple other things you can do with this. Now that you've figured out your stairs, let's say you want to share this with somebody. You figured out what they want to be, and you want to share with the guy that's going to be building them what you came up with. So you can hit share on your smartphone here, and then you can hit the email app, and it will come up and show us, a little slow, it will come up and show us an email that it's configured and hasn't. You can fill out the two to however you want, but this is went ahead and put in. These are the settings that it got from our settings when we calculated that we were doing our measurement display in feet and inches. We had our accuracy set to a 1/16 of an inch. We had set our total rise in at 8'9", our max step run 8 1/4, and our step rise at 8 1/4, and our run at 10. These are the three options that were presented to us, and we chose the third one, so we got a 7-inch step, and there's all those layout measurements, and it even includes that little drawing in there. So so we got an idea. So now if we won't send that email to anybody, we'll just discard it, and then we're back to our screen here for the stairs. There's one other really cool thing that you can do, and this is a new addition to the stairs module, is you can email a request for the drawing of that stringer. So if we click the email request on here and we send that email off, this email is going to be completely configured for you and have all the information in, and even the place it's going to, and all you have to do is click send. And as that email goes off, what's going to happen is that email goes back to the Whitmer Dex offices, and little stair elves spin up. They create a fully dimensioned drawing, and they'll send it back. So if we go into my email here, we'll see an email should come in here pretty quickly that will show us what that's supposed to look like. So let's see if it shows up. Sometimes it takes about a minute to a minute and a half for a drawing to show. Come on, little elves. Oh, something's coming in. And there it is. So here's our email that was replied to us. And if we click on that, there's going to be an attachment to it. And the attachment is a PDF file. And it says, attached to the stair drawing you requested. And if we click on this, once the PDF viewer starts up and shows it to us, we're going to see our fully dimensioned stair stringer. And there it is. So this has all the layout measurements. This is the bottom of the stairs down here up to the top, and you can see where it steps onto the deck. We can see it puts right on the drawing our inputs, which was our total rise 8'9", our number of rises were 15, and our run was 10 inches. And then it shows the step rise we came up with, the total run, our rounding actually, things like that. Now we do assume a few constants in this. Right now, I assume a riser thickness of 3/4 inch, a tread thickness of 1.5, and a stair stringer that's a 2x12, so it's 11 1/4. Now the only place that really makes a difference is on the very top and the very bottom. Everything will still work out. As a matter of fact, the layout measurements will all not change. The only thing that it really changes is right here. You see how it's 5.5 inches? This measurement right here for this thickness, for this width, is 5.5. The reason that's 5.5 is we had a 7-inch rise, because this is our first rise. This is where we'd step off the concrete pad onto there. So basically, your bottom step, you subtract the thickness of the riser from the bottom step. So we had a 7-inch rise. We take off the 1.5 inches for the tread, and we get 5.5. Now, same thing on the top. Our runs were 10 inches, so all of these cuts right here will be 10 inches wide. Except because there's no riser at the top, we take off the thickness of the riser, which was 3/4 of an inch, so this is only 9 1/4 on the top. Also, you're responsible for making sure that this is a secure connection. A lot of times I let this piece extend back past and put like a metal strap on there to tie that up, because this would be a big heavy set of stairs here with 15 rises. So you want to make sure you got a good solid connection up there, and you put footings or whatever needs to be done at the bottom. But that gives you an idea of what you can do with it and get a fully dimensioned drawing back of the stairs that you need to cut out. And that's going to make for a lot less mistakes in the future. So that gives you an idea of how the stair module works. Like I said, I use this on me and my guys use this on every deck. You really only have to put in one measurement. If these defaults are correct, you put in one measurement, pick the option you want, and boom, you have everything you need. And it gives you these three options so you can look at it, because sometimes you're stuck. Sometimes you only have 10 foot for the run where there's a fence in the way, there's a tree there, so you need you need 3 foot at the bottom of that 10 foot. Code also dictates that you need a landing 3 foot that projects out 3 foot from the end of the stairs. So if there's a tree that's 13 feet away from where these stairs are starting, the stairs are going to go 10 feet. So you need to keep it to that. You're going to have to make your stairs a little bit steeper. Anyway, that gives you an idea of how the stair module works. Hopefully this helps you out a lot in the future, and see you on the next one. Thanks.